Motive still unknown. 64-year-old accountants don't typically spend months planning mass murder for no reason. There was a reason. No one can even guess as to what it was. Other questions that Coulter raised that news organizations ought to be asking but aren't. How can it possibly take 8 days to figure out when the alleged shooter checked into the hotel? Why was Paddock wearing gloves if he was about to commit suicide? Have any other solitary mass shooters ever had girlfriends? To those questions, we'd add this. How could someone possibly have burgled Paddock's home in Reno in the middle of one of the biggest criminal investigations in the history of the state? Why was no one guarding the house? Are investigators actually that incompetent? Maybe they are. Either way, institutional credibility is dying here. When the authorities get it this wrong, people stop believing them.
Like I stated earlier, is to give you information as I know it, unverified, to calm the public, not to establish a legal case.
That's it. That's the quote. Unverifiable information to calm the public, not trying to make a legal case. Do you know what that means? Right? That means he's just basically lying to us. Hold on, we are going to play that part again. We could do a video, a music video of this. This is beautiful. This is what it's all about.
Like I stated earlier, is to give you information as I know it, unverified, to calm the public, not to establish a legal case.
Boom, bitches.
Like I stated earlier, is to give you information as I know it, unverified, to calm the public.
One more time.
Like I stated earlier, is to give you information as I know it, unverified, to calm the public.
Boom, bitches. Boom, unverified to calm the public. PsyOps 101. You just can't
not
make this.
To establish a legal case.
Of course not. Not facts, just
Everybody
PR.
Understand that?
You understand that? This is...
No questions, sir.
No questions, sir. Don't ask questions. You're not allowed to ask questions. But you can tell he's under duress. You can tell he's trying to drop hints for the people that can do the math. And we're doing the math here. And, you know, we talked about who's really pulling the strings in this deep state Gladio B attack. It seems like ruse is involved.
All of these items I will read from the narrative because I don't want my comments to be construed or changed. So I wanted to ensure the accuracy of that. But most of this conference will be done strictly through my narrative provided to you.
Can you hear how his voice is shaking? It's like he's under duress.
Now the timeline. Unfortunately, a great deal of my investigators' time has been preoccupied on this timeline.
It's telling us, you know, the timeline has changed again for a third time. The suspect, the missing suspect, Campos, basically encountered a door at 9:59. The last press conference, which was the big breakthrough, was that Campos was shot at 9:59. And now it's like he encountered the door, the fire escape door at 9:59. And you'd almost want to believe him after they've changed the story 2 or 3 times. But now the hero, the security guard, is missing. Ruse. R-O-U-S-E. Ruse.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Rouse.
I am Aaron Rouse. I'm the special agent
Ruse.
in charge for the FBI in Las Vegas.
Doesn't he look
Las
like
Vegas, including many specialized
Webster Hubble?
positions.
Is that just
Globally,
me?
we have
Maybe
hundreds
he's
of
a
agents
clone. Webster
covering
Hubble
every
clone.
facet of this investigation. Nothing will be overlooked.
You got to zoom in to really
We have made
appreciate.
significant progress. To date, we have found no signs of ideology
Is this
or
a clone?
affiliation to any groups.
Is this a clone or is it
Hundreds
me?
of interviews have been conducted so far. Close to 2,000
You know the
leads
story, right?
have been covered so far. Extensive review of digital media on a multitude of devices is ongoing.
Uh-huh.
Over 1,000 pieces of evidence have been collected and are being reviewed by the FBI laboratory.
They were wiped before they were given back.
Hours of video footage from hotels continues to be reviewed.
Where is it?
FBI victim
Why don't they
specialists
leak
from
that?
across the country
Why don't they leak that?
are here assisting victims and families of the victims. More than 1,800 victim questionnaires have been completed, and the return of personal property continues.
Wiped.
We continue
And track
we
bugs,
continue
all sorts
to
of
ask
things.
you, if you have factual information,
If you have
furtherance
anything
of
that can help this
investigation,
case, we want to
please
find
call
you.
us.
Yes. Let us
If you
know if you have
something,
video.
Say something.
We're coming after you.
The number is 1-800
Call
FBI.
FBI. Yeah. If you have any damning
FBI,
evidence that may
nor
expose
partner.
this deep state operation,
We don't rush
let
to
us know.
conclusions.
There is no conspiracy between the FBI, between LVMPD, and the MGM.
Well, then how come the story has changed 3 different times as soon as there's blowback on how their story has changed?
He remained on scene and provided security for the medical personnel.
It's just his leg, dude. Not the third leg.
So at this point, I want to thank the community. I want to thank you for letting me be your sheriff and Vegas strong. Thank you.
Strong.
No question.
What time did MGM call police? I still haven't laid that
The
out.
officers were there in the scene once. It takes 12 minutes to get
No questions. No questions. No questioning the official story.
because there was no Q&A during the press conference.
Okay, so if I want to ask questions, irrespective of the press conference, if I want to ask questions of the Las Vegas Metro Police, how do I arrange to do that?
Watch the briefing that was given. It was clearly stated that there would be
But
no.
watching is not asking questions. The question I'm asking now. Press conference.
Watching is not asking questions.
Why is that?
That's what the sheriff said.
Well, what is your role with the Las Vegas Metro Police?
I'm a police officer.
Lawrence Hatfield, is that your name? So I'm not allowed to ask questions of the police?
You can ask as much, but there's no answers for you. So you can go outside and ask.
Am I not allowed to stay inside?
We are clearing out the lobby.
Okay. I'm just asking the rules. Yes.
Then you can go with the rest of them. Everybody's been asked to leave.
Okay.
No further information will be passed on regarding this incident.
Was there a gunshot residue test given to Stephen Paddock or to... Why won't you answer that question? I mean, that's a legitimate question that the public wants the answer to. I saw you give that guy the cut the throat signal when he was talking to the press. Why don't you want to answer that question?
Are you done?
I'm not. I want to ask these questions.
You can ask the wall if you'd like.
See, if it wasn't for shady shit like that, you'd have more sympathy about, what they're trying to communicate. But since it's so shady, everything is so shady, it's like, man, there's just something there. There really is. It's not our imagination. It looks like the suicide weapon is pretty far away from his left hand. The shooter was left-handed, and you can see where his left hand is on the picture on the far right. The arrow will help you out here in just a second. But this is where his hand was in the picture. The gun is 2 feet away from him. And it doesn't really look like the same person, really. I mean, you've probably seen the unedited versions of this, and it doesn't really seem like the same person. And we know that the pictures were leaked for a reason. 1, for gun control, and 2, to make you believe that this was the suspect. Otherwise, this never would have leaked out in the internets.